In a bright and colorful galaxy, there lived a young alien girl named Lyra. She had shiny green skin that sparkled under the stars, and her big round eyes were filled with curiosity. Lyra loved to explore and discover new things. She spent her days flying around in her small spaceship, searching for adventures in distant worlds. One quiet evening, Lyra was flying through space when she spotted a blue planet in the distance. It was unlike any other planet she had seen. Its colors were vibrant, with swirling clouds and shining oceans. Lyra leaned closer to her spaceship's viewing screen. As she zoomed in, she saw strange creatures moving around on the surface. They looked like they were having fun, playing games and laughing together. What are those creatures? Lyra wondered, her heart racing with excitement. They look so happy. I want to learn more about them. The creatures were humans, and they were playing in a park. Lyra watched as a group of boys kicked a colorful ball and chased each other. Their laughter filled the air, and Lyra felt a strange feeling in her chest, a mix of joy and longing. Lyra had always been alone in her adventures. She wanted to know what it was like to have friends. As she watched the boys play, she made a bold decision. "I will go to Earth," she declared, her voice filled with determination. She quickly set her spaceship's course toward the blue planet. Her heart thumped with excitement as she imagined meeting the boys and joining their games. As Lyra flew closer to Earth, she noticed the lush green trees and the sparkling rivers below. The planet was full of life. She could see animals running and birds soaring through the sky. "This place is amazing," she thought, feeling a rush of happiness. She couldn't wait to meet the humans. After a short journey, Lyra's spaceship landed softly in a quiet area of the park where the boys had been playing. She took a deep breath, her heart pounding with both fear and excitement. This was it! She was about to step onto a new world. As she opened the door of her spaceship, a warm breeze greeted her, carrying the sounds of laughter and joy. Lyra stepped out, her feet touching the soft grass. She looked around and saw the boys in the distance, still playing with their ball. They were full of energy, running and shouting with joy. Lyra's heart raced. She was nervous, but she also felt brave. She took a step forward, her colorful outfit shimmering in the sunlight. Suddenly, the boys noticed her. They stopped their game and stared, their eyes wide with surprise. "What is that?" one of them shouted, pointing at her. The other boys gathered around, their faces a mix of curiosity and fear. Lyra raised her hands, trying to show she meant no harm. "Hello, I am Lyra," she said, her voice soft and friendly. The boys were quiet, unsure of what to do. They had never seen anyone like her before. After a moment, one of the boys stepped forward. He had curly hair and a bright smile. "I'm Jake," he said, looking at her with wonder. "Are you an alien?" Lyra nodded, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Yes, I come from a faraway planet. I saw you playing and wanted to join you." The boys exchanged glances, their fear slowly turning into curiosity. "You're not scary," another boy said, grinning. "You look cool." Encouraged by their response, Lyra smiled brightly. "Can I play with you?" she asked eagerly. "Sure," Jake replied, his excitement growing. "Let's play!" Lyra felt a rush of joy as the boys welcomed her into their game. As they ran and laughed together, she knew this was the beginning of an amazing adventure. She had come to Earth to meet new friends, and now her dream was coming true. Lyra's heart raced with excitement as she stepped out of her spaceship. She stood in a beautiful park on Earth filled with green grass and colorful flowers. The sun shone brightly in the blue sky, making everything look warm and inviting. Birds sang sweet songs, and a gentle breeze brushed against her skin, filling her with joy. She had finally arrived on the planet she had dreamed of. The boys, still amazed by her presence, gathered around her. They couldn't believe an alien girl was standing in front of them. "You really are an alien," Jake exclaimed, his eyes wide. "This is so cool!" Lyra smiled at their enthusiasm. "Thank you. I want to learn everything about you and your planet," she said, her voice filled with excitement. She felt a sense of belonging already. The boys looked at each other, then nodded, ready to show her the wonders of Earth. "Let's play soccer," one of the boys suggested. He picked up a ball and kicked it toward the others. Lyra watched, intrigued. The boys ran and kicked the ball back and forth, laughing as they played. She wanted to join in, but she wasn't sure how to play this game. Seeing her uncertainty, Jake stopped and said, "Don't worry, Lyra. We'll teach you." The other boys cheered in agreement. They explained the rules and Lyra listened carefully. Soon she was ready to try. As the game started, Lyra quickly picked up the pace. She watched the ball closely, her alien instincts kicking in. When the ball rolled toward her, she kicked it with all her might. To everyone's surprise, the ball soared high into the air, flying over the boys' heads. They all gasped in amazement. "Whoa! You kicked it like a rocket!" one of the boys shouted, clapping his hands in excitement. Lyra laughed, feeling proud. She had never played soccer before, but she loved it. The boys were impressed with her skills, and they quickly made her a part of their team. As they played, Lyra felt the joy of friendship growing. The boys showed her how to dribble, pass, and score. They cheered for each other, sharing high fives and laughter. Lyra felt alive, her heart full of happiness. For the first time, she felt like she belonged. After a while, they took a break and sat down on the grass, breathing heavily from all the running. "What do you eat on your planet?" Jake asked curiously, looking at Lyra. "Do you eat pizza like us?" Lyra giggled. "No, we don't have pizza. We eat something called starfruit. It glows in the dark and tastes sweet. Would you like to try it?" The boys stared at her in awe, their imaginations running wild. They had never heard of such a fruit. "What else is different on your planet?" another boy asked, leaning closer. Lyra thought for a moment. "Well, we have floating islands and animals that can change colors. And our sky is purple with 2 suns." The boys listened closely, their eyes wide with wonder. They had never imagined a place like that existed. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps interrupted their fun. A group of adults appeared, looking concerned. "Boys, what are you doing out here?" one of the adults said, noticing Lyra. "Who is this?" The boys looked at each other, unsure of how to explain. They didn't want to scare Lyra or make her feel unwelcome. This is Lyra," Jake said, stepping forward. "She's our friend from far away." The adults exchanged worried glances. They didn't understand who Lyra really was. They whispered among themselves, and Lyra felt nervous. What if they wanted to send her back? But before anyone could say anything else, Lyra took a deep breath. "I promise I mean no harm. I came here to learn about your planet and make friends." Her voice was confident and sincere. The boys nodded in support, standing by her side. Seeing their friendship, the adults paused. They could see the joy in the boys' faces and the kindness in Lyra's eyes. "All right," one of the adults said slowly, "but you must be careful. We need to make sure everyone is safe." Lyra smiled, relieved. She had made her first friends on Earth, and she was ready for more adventures. After their exciting first day together, Lyra felt like she had found a second home on Earth. The boys welcomed her into their group, and every moment with them was filled with laughter and joy. As the sun shone brightly the next day, Lyra woke up with a big smile, eager to see what adventures awaited her. The boys were already waiting for her at the park, their faces bright with excitement. "Lyra! Over here!" Jake called out, waving his arms. She ran toward them, her heart fluttering with happiness. "What are we doing today?" she asked eagerly. "We have so many fun things planned," said Tommy, one of the boys with a messy haircut. "First, we're going to ride our bikes around the park. Then we can have a picnic." Lyra's eyes sparkled with delight. She had never ridden a bike before, but she was ready to try anything. The boys quickly showed her how to ride, helping her climb onto a bright blue bike. With a little push, they let her go. At first, she wobbled and nearly fell, but with their encouragement, she found her balance. "Keep pedaling, Lyra!" Jake shouted, cheering her on. With each push of the pedals, she gained confidence and soon raced around the park, her laughter ringing in the air. The boys followed her, and they all zoomed past trees and flowers, enjoying the beautiful day. After riding for a while, they found a perfect spot under a large tree for their picnic. The grass was soft and green, and the shade provided a nice break from the sun. The boys spread out a colorful blanket and took out sandwiches, fruit, and drinks. "What do you want to eat, Lyra?" Jake asked, handing her a sandwich. She looked at it curiously, sniffing it to explore its smell. "It smells good. What is this?" "That's peanut butter and jelly," Tommy said, smiling. "You'll love it." Lyra took a big bite, her eyes widening in surprise. The flavors exploded in her mouth. "Wow, this is amazing!" she exclaimed, making the boys laugh. As they ate, Lyra shared stories of her home planet, describing the floating islands and glowing animals. The boys listened with wide eyes, amazed by her tales. "Do you have any special powers?" Jake asked, eager to know more. Lyra grinned, feeling a little shy. I can communicate with animals and make plants grow faster. But it's not like magic, it's just part of who I am." The boys were fascinated. They had never met anyone like her before, and their friendship grew stronger with each story. After the picnic, the boys had another idea. "Let's play hide and seek," shouted Tommy, bouncing on his feet with excitement. "Lyra, you can count first." "Okay," she replied, closing her eyes and counting to 20 as the boys scattered in different directions. The park was a great place to hide, with tall trees and bushes. When she opened her eyes, Lyra felt a rush of excitement as she searched for her new friends. She looked behind trees and under benches, her eyes scanning everywhere. Suddenly, she spotted Jake peeking out from behind a big tree trunk. "Found you!" she yelled, laughing as he tried to hide better. One by one, she found the boys, and they all giggled and cheered. "You're really good at this," Jake said, impressed. Lyra felt proud. She loved playing with her friends and felt like she belonged. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with colors of orange and pink, the boys suggested one last game. "Let's play tag," Tommy shouted. "You're it, Lyra." He took off running, and she chased after him, her heart racing with joy. They ran around the park, laughing and shouting. Lyra felt free and happy, forgetting all her worries. For the first time, she felt truly at home. The boys cheered as she tagged Tommy, and the game continued, full of energy and laughter. As they played, Lyra realized how much she had come to love Earth and her new friends. She was grateful for every moment they shared and excited about the adventures yet to come. This was just the beginning of her journey on this wonderful planet. The next day, Lyra woke up feeling excited. She could not wait to see her friends again. The sun shone brightly outside, promising another fun-filled day in the park. After finishing her breakfast, she quickly grabbed her things and ran out the door. When she arrived at the park, the boys were already there, playing a game of catch. As soon as they saw her, they waved and shouted, "Lyra, come join us!" She ran over, her heart racing with happiness. "What are we doing today?" she asked, eager for the adventures that awaited. "We were thinking of exploring the woods behind the park," Jake said with a grin. "There are some cool trails and maybe even a stream." The thought of exploring made Lyra excited. She loved discovering new places, and this sounded like the perfect adventure. The boys led the way into the woods, laughing and joking as they walked. The trees stood tall, their leaves rustling in the gentle breeze. Birds chirped overhead, and the sweet smell of flowers filled the air. Lyra looked around in awe, taking in the beauty of Earth. As they reached a small clearing, they found a stream flowing with clear water. The boys cheered, running to the edge and splashing each other. Lyra giggled and watched them, enjoying their playful spirit. "Come on, Lyra, join us," Tommy shouted, splashing water in her direction. Lyra hesitated for a moment, then decided to join the fun. She stepped closer to the water and jumped in, feeling the coolness against her skin. The boys laughed and splashed her even more, and soon she was laughing right along with them. After playing in the stream for a while, the boys suggested they play a game of tag. "Let's make it more exciting," Jake said. "If you get tagged, you have to run to the other side of the stream." "That sounds fun," Lyra exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "I'm in." The game began, and Lyra felt the thrill of chasing and being chased. She darted around trees, her alien speed giving her an advantage. She tagged Tommy, and he squealed with surprise. "Now you have to run across the stream," he laughed as he dashed away. As Lyra chased after Tommy, she noticed something strange out of the corner of her eye. A shadow moved quickly behind a tree, but when she looked closer, it was gone. She brushed it off, thinking it was just her imagination. However, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. The game continued, and soon it was Lyra's turn to run from the others. She sprinted through the trees, her heart pounding with excitement. "You can't catch me," she shouted, glancing back to see how close they were. But as she turned around, she tripped over a root and fell to the ground. Just as she was getting up, she saw that shadow again, creeping closer. This time it was clearer, a figure lurking behind the trees. "Lyra, are you okay?" Jake called out, running toward her. But she didn't answer. She was too focused on the figure watching her. It had green skin and big glowing eyes. Lyra felt a chill run down her spine. The creature suddenly stepped out from the shadows, and the boys froze in fear. "What is that?" Tommy whispered, his voice trembling. The creature looked at them, and a low growl escaped its lips. Without thinking, Lyra shouted, "Run! It's not friendly!" The boys turned and dashed back toward the park, their hearts racing. Lyra followed closely behind, adrenaline pumping through her veins. As they ran, they could hear the creature chasing after them. Its heavy footsteps echoed in the woods, getting closer and closer. "Faster!" Jake yelled, urging everyone to keep moving. Lyra could feel the fear in her heart, but she also felt something else, determination. She didn't want to let her friends down. They had welcomed her, and now she needed to protect them. They burst out of the woods and into the park, but the creature was still right behind them. The boys ran toward the playground, hoping to find safety. Lyra turned to face the creature, ready to confront it. She wouldn't let it harm her friends. "Stay back!" she shouted, her voice strong. The boys turned to see her standing her ground. "We can handle this together." The creature paused, taken aback by her courage. For a moment, everything was silent, and the boys watched with wide eyes. Would Lyra's bravery be enough to stop the creature? Lyra stood firm, her heart pounding as she faced the creature. The boys huddled behind her, their eyes wide with fear. The strange being seemed surprised by Lyra's bravery. Its glowing eyes flickered, and for a moment it hesitated. "Who are you?" Lyra asked, trying to keep her voice steady. The creature growled softly but did not advance. It appeared curious, as if it had never seen anyone like her before. "I am Lyra," she continued, "and I mean no harm." The creature tilted its head, studying her. Lyra could feel the tension in the air. It was an unusual situation, but she remembered her own powers. She took a deep breath and focused on the energy around her, hoping to communicate. As she concentrated, she felt a connection with the creature. It was not just a beast, but a living being with its own thoughts and feelings. "I can help you," she said softly, reaching out a hand. "You don't need to be afraid of us." The creature's growl faded, replaced by a curious whimper. The boys watched in awe as Lyra slowly stepped forward. "Please, just tell us what you want," she urged, her voice calm and soothing. To everyone's surprise, the creature took a step closer. Its eyes softened, and it made a strange whimpering sound. Lyra realized that it was not trying to harm them, it was lonely and scared. "You're lost, aren't you?" she asked gently. The creature nodded slightly, and Lyra smiled. "We can help you find your way home, just like you helped me feel welcome here." The boys exchanged glances, their fear fading as they began to understand the creature better. Lyra turned back to her friends. "We should work together to help it." The boys nodded, their courage returning. They all stepped forward, showing the creature that they meant no harm. Slowly, they formed a circle around the creature, and Lyra began to hum softly. The melody was calming, and the boys joined in, creating a gentle harmony. The creature listened, its eyes brightening. The sound seemed to soothe it, and soon it sat down, watching them with curiosity. "Now, let's see if we can guide you home," Lyra said. She closed her eyes and focused on the energy around her, feeling the pull of the creature's home. She could sense the direction it needed to go. "Follow me," she said, turning to lead the way. The creature stood up, its eyes shining with hope. The boys followed closely behind, feeling a new sense of adventure. Together, they started walking deeper into the woods, searching for the creature's home. As they walked, Lyra talked to the creature, asking questions about where it came from. It responded with soft sounds, and Lyra understood its feelings. The creature was a gentle being, and they could see that it just wanted to return to its family. After walking for a while, they reached a small clearing filled with glowing flowers. "This must be it," Lyra said, feeling a surge of excitement. The creature moved forward, sniffing the air with joy. It seemed to recognize the place, and its eyes sparkled with happiness. "Thank you for helping me," Lyra said to the creature, feeling a bond form between them. The boys cheered, celebrating their success. They had not only faced fear together, but also helped a lost friend find its way home. The creature turned to Lyra and made a soft sound, almost like a thank you. Then it stepped back, looking at all of them. Lyra could feel that it wanted to say goodbye, but also promised to return one day. "Will we see you again?" Jake asked, his voice hopeful. The creature nodded as if understanding their words. It stepped back, blending into the glowing flowers until it disappeared from sight. Lyra felt a mix of emotions, happiness for the creature and sadness at their parting. "We'll always remember you," she said softly. The boys echoed her sentiment, feeling a sense of connection to the strange being. As they walked back toward the park, the boys chattered excitedly about their adventure. They felt proud of what they had done. "Lyra, you were amazing," Tommy said, grinning. "You helped that creature." "It was teamwork," Lyra replied, smiling. "We all did it together." In her heart, she knew this was not the end. She would return to Earth again, and perhaps one day her new friend would visit her. They all made a promise to keep exploring and learning from each other, ready for whatever adventures lay ahead. With laughter and joy, they made their way back to the park, the sun shining brightly above them. Together, they felt stronger and more connected, ready to face whatever the world had to offer next.